Knowledge that being a person of a marginalized identity, whether it's color, sexuality, gender, sex, able body, whatever it is taxing. Especially when you're around people of dominant personality, right? Dominant identities, I should say. It is very taxing. It taxes me as a professional who hasn't been an undergrad in a few years, more than a few actually, but who's counting, right? So I could imagine you as students who have like this burden of graduating and running your organization and doing this, how tired it must be that you associate with these folks who say these things and smile in your face, and they think it's okay. Girl, I'm not being, you know I don't mean that. Like, no, I don't, sorry. Not at all, I don't, right? So, getting back to this. This actually happened to me. This was my IFC and I was their advisor. And I'm sitting there, we having a transition meeting for the officers, and I'm feeling good about them because I really like my guys, and you know they were really poised to do great things, and I'm great, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening, and I just heard that, and I said, so I'm at a crossroad, right? Do I just pretend I didn't hear it and just be cool because I know that I got a very strong personality, and when the line is loose, man, listen, the line is loose, right? Or do I address it and create this a great learning experience for us? So I have to address it. As their advisor, I do not have the flexibility, the latitude, or the opportunity, right, the freedom to not address it. So any of you were advisors that don't address these issues, you need to hold them accountable, because they do not have that freedom to not address these issues. Hold them accountable. So I'm like, okay, right, I'm all about, I can sit here and we can debate over things, but I'm very black and white. That's the way I've always been. So what does this word mean, right? So I'm like, first I ask him, well, what do you mean by he's a token? Well, you know, he's the only black guy in his fraternity. Okay, do you know what the word token means? No, I need you to look it up. Look up the word token and we'll have a follow-up conversation of that. But in the meantime, what you just said is not okay. So I need you to do is look up that word, and what I want to do in the meantime, we're going to schedule some diversity training for you, because you need to understand this. Now, I could have easily told him what the word meant, but one of my beliefs is that sometimes there's nothing more enlightening. Think about it that when you were looking for your organization to join, and you read up and you found out something about that organization on your own domain, you say, oh, this is it for me. You had that moment like, yeah, I'm all about this. So to me, that's very important. You have to take some ownership. He needs to go to learn on his own. So he did. He actually wanted to say, oh my gosh, I didn't know that's what a token meant. I am so sorry that I used that, right? Because he didn't know what the word meant. And a lot of times, what I've learned in my experience, and which is, it doesn't help you out, but understand, sometimes folks don't know what they're saying, right? So like Drew was talking about, South Park, the guy Token. Oh, you see that's kind of funny, Token, until you realize, you know, South Park, they do satire on a lot of things. Once you realize what that meant, but you're used to something but you don't understand it. And that doesn't make it okay, but I understand that there's different levels of intention there. All right, so that was that. So I know it's very, very difficult. Now, one thing I want to point out, and I heard you say this, and I want to bring this up, right? I said token, he said token, I said the only black member of his organization. Is that the same thing?
Wait,
Is being, when I say token, does that equate, did I say the only black member of his organization? Is that the same thing? Yes.
I mean, it just depends on like, the way the conversation is brought up, I guess. If someone is using that person as a scapegoat to validate their sort of shit, what's the word I'm looking for? That's probably you know what I'm trying to say. To just validate that they like
they're not that
and stuff.
yeah.
I mean, it's different from like someone like me, myself joining Indian fraternity or a Spanish fraternity, because I made that decision myself, and then they accepted me for who I am.
Just want to say something. When you say Spanish, Spanish refers to a language, or it can refer to the country, Spain. What you mean is probably Latino-based fraternity, because that's usually the terminology you use. And I know because my family's from the Dominican Republic, it kind of resonates with me when people say Spanish, because it's like, I'm not Spanish. I speak Spanish. A little bit of different things, but again, it's how we learn from each other. See, I confronted him on something, I knew that's not what he meant to do, but it's important that we educate. And I'm not mad about it, because I've done it in other situations. But the reason why I want to ask is because I heard you say, well, he's the only black guy in his fraternity, he's a token, that's just what it is. But here's the piece of it. I know I heard some conversations being said. Part of what makes somebody a token is that they have no functionality other than them being that thing that points to say we're not racist because we have this, right? So I understand that being the only black guy in the fraternity doesn't make them a token. It just means that for whatever reason he is the only black man that chose to join them. Or some of our chapters have white guys. Some may have more than others, but we're Afro-initiated white guys. I don't never look at them as a token white guy, and I don't tokenize them. I don't say, oh no, we're diverse because we have them. No, we're still a black fraternity. All day, every day. We happen to have non-black members who contribute to the initiatives that we're doing. So it's just important that you understand that as well, because there's nothing worse than being oppressed by people that don't look like us, and then being oppressed by the people that look like us. We get no types of level of oppression going on. So we're gonna move on, right?